Remember that feeling, like, when you stumbled upon something just utterly fascinating. Maybe it was a new idea that suddenly made sense of something complex, or like a hidden piece of history that just flipped your understanding, or even just noticing some tiny, intricate little creature in your own backyard you'd never really seen before. That immediate surge of excitement, right? That kind of visceral aha moment when a piece of the world just clicked into place a bit more vividly. For a lot of us, that powerful sense of wonder, that insatiable curiosity, it used to be a daily thing in childhood. It was just fundamental, how we navigated the world. But what if that feeling isn't just some nostalgic childhood phase we outgrow? What if it's actually the secret ingredient to a life that's, well, overflowing with happiness, deep fulfillment, and even surprisingly, better health no matter how old you are? Today, we're going to do a deep dive into exactly that profound connection, one that's often really underestimated. It's the unbreakable link between active curiosity, a commitment to lifelong learning, and your overall well-being. Our mission here is to unpack the real insights from the material we've looked at, exploring why curiosity isn't just vital, but maybe truly foundational to, well, thriving. We'll look at what happens when that innate spark kind of dims, and maybe most importantly, how we can not only rekindle it, but really fan it into a vibrant flame, unlock a happier, more purposeful, more fulfilling life. And this isn't just about collecting facts or like adding new skills to your resume. It's about understanding how continuous learning fundamentally impacts your mental sharpness, your relationships, your career, and that deeper sense of joy and meaning that, well, makes life truly worth living.
It's a really compelling idea, isn't it? And what's particularly fascinating is that this isn't some abstract philosophical thing we kind of develop over time. We are actually born with this incredible inherent drive. I mean, think about a newborn baby, just days old. From the moment they arrive, they are just driven to explore. Their tiny hands reach out, their eyes track every little movement, every shadow they want to touch, see, taste, experience everything around them. It's this unbridled enthusiasm. The very existence of the whole baby-proofing industry, all those locks and outlet covers and safety gates, it's basically a universal testament to this deep, inborn need to touch, see, taste, and experience the world around them. It's how we start our first interaction with everything.
Oh, absolutely. It's like their default setting, isn't it? Their core programming is just explore and learn relentlessly, and it doesn't stop there. As kids' senses mature and their abilities grow, their sense of wonder expands too. They're constantly pushing boundaries, venturing into the unknown with great interest and an unbridled desire to know and understand more. It's this unstoppable natural force. I remember as a kid, I was completely obsessed with how things worked. My parents, they'd bring home broken electronics, old VCRs, ancient radios, you name it, and I'd spend hours out in the garage with a screwdriver just taking them apart. I wasn't trying to fix them, mind you, not at all. I just needed to see the gears, the wires, the circuit boards to understand that intricate dance happening inside, that feeling of figuring something out. Like one of our sources describes it, that moment when a little piece of the puzzle clicked into place, even if it was just figuring out what some component did. That was pure, unadulterated joy. It really highlights that curiosity isn't just about what we gain from learning, like a new skill or some fact. It's fundamentally about what we are as human beings. We're just innately driven to understand, to connect, to discover.
And this innate drive, like you said, it isn't just about intellectual growth or fixing old gadgets. If we broaden our perspective a bit, the benefits of staying curious actually extend way beyond academic or cognitive learning. They ripple through pretty much every aspect of our lives, our psychological, emotional, social, even our physical well-being, in really profound ways. Research consistently shows that curious people they tend to be notably happier. They report higher levels of positive emotions, lower levels of anxiety, more satisfaction with life, and greater psychological well-being.
Right.
It's almost like curiosity acts as a natural self-sustaining engine for emotional regulation.
That's a powerful connection, yeah. Curiosity is a key to emotional flourishing, and it definitely lines up with everyday experience, doesn't it? Our sources mention a Gallup survey that found the act of learning something new was one of the strongest influences on how much enjoyment a person experienced on a given day. That's huge. And there's a fascinating biological reason for this, too. Apparently, novelty makes us feel good. It's possibly because our brains release dopamine and other, feel-good chemicals when we encounter new things. Dopamine's like the brain's own little reward system, right? A neurochemical pat on the back saying, good job exploring, do more of that. It literally rewards us for being curious. And beyond those immediate chemical hits, there's a real powerful sense of personal growth. Lifelong learners often get a significant boost in self-esteem, confidence, and self-efficacy, especially when the learning connects to a personal need or interest. When you actively set and achieve learning goals, even small ones, you naturally get those positive feelings of accomplishment. And those feelings don't just feel good, they actively build a greater ability to cope with stress and cultivate a stronger sense of hope and purpose. It's like a building block for resilience.
Precisely. And this positive impact, it stretches even further. It extends to our cognitive sharpness and maybe even contributes to longevity. Our sources point to research suggesting lifelong learners stay sharper on average, and that continuous mental engagement might actually reduce our risk of dementia as we age and keep the mind sharp. But it's not just about, avoiding decline. One source puts it beautifully, saying that curiosity makes any life feel rich and long. So it's not just about adding years to life, but really adding life to your years, experiencing things more deeply, more fully.
Right, so it keeps our minds young and our lives feeling bigger. But the benefits get even richer when you think about the social side of things, the relational advantages. Curiosity has this remarkable ability to expand our empathy. How? Well, by actively encouraging us to interact with people outside our usual social circle, Minto. When you approach other people with genuine curiosity, really trying to understand their perspective instead of just waiting to talk, you become better able to understand those with lives, experiences, and worldviews different than your own. And this isn't just theory. A study found that showing genuine interest in others, asking curious questions, actually makes you seem warmer and more attractive. It fosters deeper closeness and connection in relationships. It's almost like a secret social superpower.
Yeah, what's really fascinating is how curiosity fundamentally strengthens our human bonds. Engaging in lifelong learning doesn't just offer opportunities to develop new relationships with other learners. Think about the communities built around shared interests. But it also helps nurture existing connections by sharing or exchanging knowledge. Imagine a couple learning a new language together, or friends starting a book club, maybe discussing a new historical period, or even just picking apart a challenging documentary they all watched. That shared journey of discovery really deepens their connection. Even in professional settings, the impact is tangible. Our sources note that curious doctors, for example, the ones who genuinely engage with patients' perspectives, ask probing questions about their experiences. They tend to see less anger and frustration from patients and ultimately make better decisions about their care. It significantly improves the effectiveness of treatment. It changes the whole dynamic from just transactional to a real empathetic partnership.
And then, beyond relationships, curiosity clearly boosts achievement. Studies show it leads to more enjoyment and participation in school and higher academic achievement. Makes sense. In the workplace, that translates directly to greater learning, engagement, and performance. It's almost intuitive, right? When we are more curious about and interested in what we are doing, it just becomes way easier to get involved, put effort in, and do well. These benefits aren't just isolated things, they form this powerful, self-reinforcing positive feedback loop. Curiosity sparks positive experiences, which then reinforces the desire to learn and explore, which further enhances our well-being. It's like a continuous upward spiral. So as you're listening, maybe think about which specific areas of your own life, your happiness, your relationships, your career, even just your daily mental sharpness could be really enriched by cultivating a renewed sense of curiosity. Where might that spark ignite something truly remarkable for you?
It's a really inspiring picture, isn't it? A life just rich with discovery, deep connection, continuous personal growth. But this leads us to a really key question. If curiosity offers such undeniable advantages, if it's so fundamental to who we are, why does it seem to just dwindle or even vanish for so many of us as we hit adulthood?
Exactly. That's the puzzle. We all start out as these relentless question askers, these tiny explorers, constantly poking the world with why and how. But then, something fundamentally shifts. As adults, many of us lose the sense of discovery. It's almost like we get so busy looking for answers, we forget to ask questions. It's backward. One of our sources notes, kind of humorously, but also quite poignantly, that it's as if we hit adulthood and we stopped learning, as if we'd already learned everything we needed to learn and seen everything there is to see. It's like we just declare ourselves done when really the journey's only just begun.
And that really is the adult paradox. It's not usually a failure of intelligence. It's often a complex result of the pressures of modern life and maybe internalizing certain fears. And we're often bombarded with just an overwhelming amount of information, right? Which can trigger a kind of mental exhaustion. So instead of engaging, we shut down. And if we look at the bigger picture, there are specific, powerful factors that actively contribute to suppressing that natural inclination to learn and explore.
Yeah, the most obvious one that jumps out is just plain old fear. Fear of the unknown, maybe. Or just a deep reluctance to disrupt our comfortable routine. Or, let's be honest, we're often just too busy dealing with our daily lives that curiosity takes a back seat. It gets pushed aside. There's a certain, maybe deceptive comfort in playing it safe, isn't there? It prevents us from being overwhelmed and creates a predictable and understandable environment. We build these little mental fortresses of familiarity, but the trade-off, as our sources point out, is huge. It sacrifices the discovery of new things, and really critically, it fails to build the skills of resilience that novel challenges teach us. By actively avoiding situations that make us anxious, we might protect ourselves from momentary discomfort, sure. But we're also missing out on a key aspect of vitality, the joy of learning something new. We actually become less capable, not more.
And what's equally interesting here is another powerful fear-based barrier, the fear of looking ignorant. As we move into what one source calls a more mature and curious state of mind, we actively don't want to run the risk of looking ignorant. It's as if the possibility of appearing uninformed about a complex subject outweighs the opportunity to learn something new. I would think about it. How many times have you been in a meeting or just hanging out, and a topic comes up you don't quite get, but you just nod along? Instead of asking a clarifying question, the self-imposed barrier is so counterproductive that fleeting discomfort of asking what you think is a dumb question. It's almost always outweighed by the huge, lasting opportunity to actually learn something new, clear up a misunderstanding, and genuinely expand your understanding. It's a false economy of ego, really.
Totally. And then, of course, there's just the relentless march of routine. The daily grind, work demands, all the personal commitments, all these things can make learning feel less like something essential and more like, well, an indulgence, a luxury, something we'll get to if we have spare time, which, let's face it, is pretty rare for most people. This creates this vicious cycle, right, where busyness reduces curiosity, which then diminishes the very joy and fulfillment that learning can bring. These barriers, even though they seem protective, trying to keep us comfortable and productive, they ultimately limit our vast potential for growth, for deep fulfillment, and, for sustained happiness. They can trap us in a closed-minded state that, as one observer vividly put it, just seems either sad or grumpy. Definitely not the vibrant picture of a thriving, joyful life we were just painting.
So this brings us to a really important question for you, listening right now. As you reflect on your own life, your own experiences, have you recognized any of these barriers popping up for you? Where have you maybe inadvertently traded curiosity for that deceptive comfort of predictability or just the endless demands of being busy? What might be the real cost of making that trade-off?
It's a powerful thing to reflect on, isn't it? And the genuinely good news here is we can absolutely push past these barriers. We can reignite that powerful spark of curiosity we were all born with. And it often starts with some deceptively simple yet profoundly impactful daily habits, like consciously asking questions.
Absolutely. Just reintegrating basic, purposeful inquiry into our daily lives is one of the most powerful and accessible ways to keep that spark not just alive, but really thriving. Our sources highlight two key questioning techniques that can make a huge difference. The first one is simply, wait, what? Hi. Now, this isn't meant to be confrontational. It's an expression of genuine interest and a desire to learn more. It's essential for understanding and clarification. It prompts you to press pause and take the time to carefully consider what you are doing before making up your mind. It forces you to slow down, to really engage with the information or the situation, rather than just passively letting it wash over you.
I really love that wait what approach. It's so simple but effective. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about listening with intent, seeking deeper meaning. It challenges our assumptions. The second powerful phrase is, I wonder if why. This kind of inquiry keeps you perpetually curious about why things are as they are and exploring different possibilities and scenarios. It actively enables you to think differently and see a problem with fresh eyes. It just opens up your mind to new perspectives, maybe innovative solutions. We've all heard that classic anecdote, right? Millions saw the apple fall, but Newton asked why. That simple yet profound example perfectly shows that real insight, groundbreaking discovery, revolutionary progress, it comes not just from observation, but from critical inquiry, from daring to challenge assumptions about what is. It's about refusing to take things for granted, even the stuff that seems obvious.
Exactly. And this raises a really important practical question for you listening. How can you integrate these simple but powerful questions, wait, what, and I wonder if why, into your conversations today? Into your work, or even just into your internal monologue as you go about your day. Yeah. It's about making curiosity a consistent, gentle habit, not waiting for some grand, infrequent event to spark it.
That's truly the key, isn't it? Curiosity doesn't demand grand adventures or years of academic study every single day. It thrives just as powerfully, maybe even more so, in everyday observations and interests. The author of the Hermit's Rest blog really captures this beautifully. They describe being curious about everything, from taking the time to identify a bluish-green cuckoo wasp they saw on a walk, to confirming a green heron nest in their pond. Little things. They actively find fun in solving little local mysteries that their curiosity brings out. It's such a delightful, accessible way to approach daily discovery.
Yeah. And what's fascinating is how these seemingly small acts build up into a much richer, more engaging life. The same author shared how for a personal blog project, they started tracking plant and insect species in their local area. Eventually, they found over 350 of each. They noted, "I don't think I'd ever have imagined I'd find that many if I hadn't have been curious enough to start recording them." Hmm. These deliberate small acts of curiosity, whether they're focused on nature, a hobby, a corner of your neighborhood, or just everyday objects, they accumulate to create a profoundly richer, more deeply engaging existence. They are, as our sources describe it, a profound form of personal fulfillment, a quiet yet powerful sense of meaning that comes from just noticing and understanding the world around you. It's about turning the mundane into something kind of magical.
So maybe consider this for your own life. What are the small local mysteries right around you, maybe in your neighborhood or within your existing hobbies, things you could approach with a renewed sense of inquiry? Maybe it's the hidden history of your street or the specific types of birds that visit your feeder, or even just truly understanding how that coffee maker you use every single day actually works. These little discoveries, these small flickers of curiosity, they really do add up to a much more vibrant life. But, okay, while rekindling daily curiosity is a fantastic foundational start, what about more structured, intentional ways to deepen knowledge and keep learning throughout our lives?
This brings us right to the undeniable necessity of continuous learning in our world today, which is changing so rapidly. Lifelong learning has genuinely shifted from being, an optional extra to an essential requirement for navigating modern society and achieving both personal and professional success. Our sources make it crystal clear. Lifelong learning is the key to personal growth, career advancement, and a fulfilling life. It's no longer just a nice to have, it's really foundational.
It's absolutely critical, isn't it? I mean, as technology advances and industries evolve, the need to continue learning throughout our lives has never been more critical. Think about how quickly entire fields change, how new skills become obsolete and others emerge almost overnight. Lifelong learning isn't just about personal enrichment anymore. It's frankly about survival in the job market. It helps individuals stay relevant and remain competitive. Our sources confirm that engaging in continuous learning can directly lead to promotions, career changes, or even the launch of successful businesses. And beyond career, education and learning play this huge, important role throughout the lifespan and help individuals cope with adversity. What that means is it actively provides flexibility through learning to adapt to challenges of economic upheaval, ill health, and aging. It's like a mental and emotional shield against life's unpredictable stuff.
Exactly. What's really striking here is this dual benefit. Not only does lifelong learning offer profound personal enrichment and career advancement, but it also cultivates that practical resilience in the face of constant, often dizzying change. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the landscape of lifelong learning programs available today is just incredibly vast and varied. It offers so many flexible and accessible routes for adults to engage in continuous learning, catering to pretty much every conceivable need, interest, and schedule.
Okay, let's dive into some of those pathways. They're really diverse. First up, we have massive open online courses, or MOOCs as everyone calls them. These platforms have truly revolutionized online learning. They offer an astonishing array of free online courses from top universities and industry leaders around the globe. The breadth is just amazing. They cover a wide range of subjects, from data science and business to history and literature. Think of the big names: Coursera, EdBX, which, was co-founded by Harvard and MIT Udacity, FutureLearn, plus university-specific platforms like Harvard Online and MIT OpenCourseWare, and industry ones like Google Digital Garage and LinkedIn Learning, huge players.
Right. And to really get the most out of MOOCs, our sources suggest a few key things. It's really vital to set realistic goals, dedicate specific time by creating a study schedule, maybe actively engage with the community forums that can be really helpful, and consistently take notes, just like you would in a regular class. While some certificates might cost a little bit upon completion, the actual course content itself is typically free. That makes MOOCs incredibly accessible and cost-effective for learners on almost any budget. You could find things like Coursera's Data Science Specialization or Harvard's Foundational CS50 Computer Science course on edX, or even dive into a creative writing specialization on Coursera. They offer structured, high-quality learning without the usual institutional hurdles.
Okay, next on our list, open university programs. These represent a really unique and democratic approach to higher education. They typically have no or minimal entry requirements. That makes higher learning accessible to a wide range of students who might otherwise be shut out. The concept itself has a rich history, actually, dating back to the UK's pioneering Open University way back in 1969. These programs usually deliver their courses through a blend of flexible distance learning, online courses, and occasional in-person sessions, all designed to fit around the demands of adult life.
Yeah, and prominent examples beyond the original UK one include the Open University Japan, the National Open University of Nigeria, and the Indira Gandhi National Open University in India. What's genuinely fascinating are the success stories that come out of these places. The UK Open University, for instance, has actually produced more CEOs than any other UK university. Quite something. And you constantly hear these uplifting examples of individuals, like maybe a single mother who completed her degree while working full-time to build a better future, or a retiree who fulfilled a lifelong dream of earning a degree in history, just for the pure love of learning. It powerfully highlights how transformative these programs can be for people juggling life's many complex demands.
Then there are professional development certifications. In today's super competitive, always changing job market, these credentials have become incredibly valuable. They don't just demonstrate your expertise in specific areas, they also powerfully signal to employers your commitment to staying current in your field. That matters. They are particularly valuable in rapidly evolving fields like technology, where skills get outdated fast, or if you're actively transitioning into a new career and need to quickly show you've got the skills. To find the right one for you, our sources advise doing thorough research into your industry, making sure the certification lines up with your career goals, and carefully checking out reputable providers, like, the Project Management Institute for PMP, CompTIA for IT stuff, or even tech giants like Microsoft and Google for their specific credentials.
And this brings up an important point for you to think about. Which certification would really unlock that next level for your career path? Or maybe help you make that big career change you've been considering? Some top certifications include the PMP for project managers, CISSP for cybersecurity pros, CPA for accounting, CISA for information systems auditors, just to name a few common ones. Many offer online learning options, which gives you invaluable flexibility, though some might still require in-person exams to really rigorously validate those skills.
Right. Another often overlooked but incredibly effective option in the lifelong learning world is community college continuing education. These institutions, often right in your local community, offer this amazing mix of affordability, flexibility, and quality education, specifically designed with adult learners in mind. They're remarkably accessible. Many libraries partner with local community colleges to offer courses practically in your backyard, and the range of courses is just astonishingly broad. Everything from highly career-focused courses in fast-growing fields like healthcare or tech, to enriching personal interest courses like art, creative writing, learning a new language, photography, and even fundamental academic courses if you're thinking about transferring to get a bachelor's degree later.
Yeah, and what's really great here are the practical, immediate benefits. They offer fantastic networking opportunities with a really diverse group of fellow learners, people from all walks of life, just united by a common interest. They provide practical skills that are often immediately useful in your daily life or work, which makes the learning feel really tangible and rewarding. And crucially, they are generally more affordable than traditional four-year universities. Plus, a lot of the credits earned can be seamlessly transferred if you do decide to go for a full degree later. This pathway genuinely makes education accessible and impactful for local communities. It fosters growth right from the ground up.
Okay, and finally, we get to corporate learning and development programs. More and more forward-thinking companies are recognizing the huge value of continuous employee education, not just for individual skill development and career advancement, but also for boosting employee retention, fostering a culture of innovation, and improving overall company performance. It's smart business. These programs can take lots of different forms: in-house training workshops, maybe access to comprehensive online learning platforms, structured mentorship programs, generous tuition reimbursement policies, or even strategic partnerships with universities and specialized training providers.
And to tap into these valuable resources, our sources suggest being proactive. Research what your company already offers, have an open chat with your manager or HR about your learning goals, and maybe even be prepared to suggest new initiatives if you see a gap or real need. What's particularly fascinating are the innovative, sometimes revolutionary, examples set by leading companies. Google's famous 20% time policy. That lets employees spend a fifth of their work week on passion projects. It fostered incredible creativity, leading to things like Gmail. Amazon's Career Choice program prepays 95% of tuition for employees getting certifications or degrees in high-demand fields, directly tackling skill gaps. AT&T famously invested a staggering $1 billion in reskilling its workforce to stay ahead. And Pixar University offers free classes to all employees: sculpture, drawing, improv, storytelling, fostering this amazing cross-disciplinary creative culture. Exciting trends are emerging too, like microlearning, short, focused modules, immersive VR training, adaptive learning platforms using AI for personalized paths, and social learning, encouraging people to share knowledge.
Wow, it's really clear, isn't it? The options for continuous learning are incredibly diverse and adaptable. They cater to almost any need or interest you might have, regardless of where you are in life or your career. So maybe take a moment to really think about it. Which of these pathways resonates most strongly with your current needs or interests? Where could you begin your own intentional learning journey, taking that crucial first step towards a more curious and fulfilling life? And as we dive into these diverse learning opportunities, it's absolutely crucial to understand the incredible science behind why this continuous engagement is so profoundly beneficial. It quite literally shapes the very architecture of our brains.
Exactly. This brings us to the brain's incredible symphony of learning and a core idea known as brain plasticity. Our brains aren't static, unchanging organs, quite the opposite. They are highly plastic and change continuously, adapting and reorganizing in direct response to learning and new experiences. And remarkably, they stay adaptable throughout our entire lives. The powerful principle of use it or lose it is very apt when it comes to the brain. Learning a new skill physically changes the brain, building new neural pathways, strengthening existing connections, and critically, these changes can actually revert if the practice stops. It's a dynamic living system.
Yeah, a really compelling and widely cited example of this is that landmark London taxi driver study. Licensed London taxi drivers, after years acquiring the knowledge of London's complex layout, which is this incredibly tough feat, memorizing 25,000 streets and 20,000 landmarks, they actually show greater gray matter volume in a region of the brain known to be essential for memory and navigation, specifically the posterior hippocampus. Their brains physically changed. But what's even more fascinating, and really reinforces that use it or lose it idea, is that these structural changes were found to literally reverse upon retirement when those intense spatial memory skills weren't being actively used anymore. So this isn't just about gaining information, it's about how active learning physically shapes, expands, and maintains our cognitive abilities. It is quite literally like exercising a muscle for your mind, building mental strength and agility.
And this leads us directly to the idea of learning as a powerful natural form of cognitive enhancement. Education and continuous learning aren't just about piling up facts or mastering specific tasks. They fundamentally improve our inherent ability to think critically, adapt to new situations, and solve complex problems. As our sources state, education is a powerful form of cognitive enhancement. Even basic skills like literacy and numeracy profoundly change the human brain. They enable feats that would not be possible without these cultural tools. And crucially, they increase mental flexibility, the ability to shift perspective and adapt your thinking. The steady observed rise in IQ scores over the last decades is thought to be at least partially due to education and just increasing exposure to complex problem solving. This really underscores that learning isn't just about what you know. It fundamentally improves the brain's processing power, its adaptability, its capacity for complex thought. It makes you more capable in pretty much every part of life.
And what's really exciting now is how modern neuroscience is increasingly shaping the future of learning, especially when it comes to addressing individual differences. We know inherently that there are individual differences in learning ability with a basis in the brain. It's just how we're wired. Some individuals have specific difficulties, for instance, with language, literacy, numeracy, or self-control. Things like dyslexia affecting reading or dyscalculia affecting number sense, both of which have a clear biological basis.
Right, and this is precisely where adaptive learning technology comes into play, directly informed by neuroscience. For example, with dyscalculia, research identified a poor number sense as an underlying cause. So clever computer games have been designed to give learners practice in understanding numbers that adapt to the learner's current skill level and adjust to them. These programs are designed to tap into the individual's natural reward system. How? By subtly showing the difference between the outcome the learner expects from an action and the outcome they actually observe. This feedback loop helps them learn which action consistently leads to the most valuable outcome. It's smart learning. Effectively, these adaptive programs emulate a teacher who constantly lives to current learner understanding. They provide far more practice than is often possible through one-to-one teaching, making learning much more accessible, effective, and even enjoyable for everyone, regardless of their learning style or challenges. And the long-term benefits are clear. Lifelong learning and cognitive training have wider benefits for health and well-being. It connects back to everything.
It's truly amazing to see how deep scientific understanding of the brain can lead to such practical, personalized, and impactful solutions. Solutions that genuinely make learning more effective and equitable for everyone. And it's not just about overcoming difficulties or improving performance, is it? At its heart, a core objective of scientific endeavor itself, as the Royal Society puts it so passionately, is to inspire an interest in the joy, wonder, and excitement of scientific discovery. This really connects the high-level goals of scientific bodies with those deeply personal, intrinsic rewards of curiosity and learning. It highlights the shared human desire for understanding and appreciation that spans from, a kid taking apart a VCR to a world-renowned scientist making a breakthrough. So how might truly understanding your brain's incredible lifelong adaptability encourage you to embrace new learning challenges, knowing that you're not just gaining knowledge, but literally building mental capacity and strength with every new connection you make?
Indeed. And with all these profound insights into the brain's capacity and the undeniable benefits of continuous learning, it's crucial to think about how we specifically ensure that learning isn't just about gaining skills or piling up information. How do we make sure it truly promotes joy, especially in our incredibly diverse and often challenging world? Which raises an important question. What exactly is joy in learning? Is it just being happy during a lesson?
That's an excellent, really nuanced question, because joy is definitely far more profound than just simple happiness. Our sources highlight that joy is a feeling that goes beyond happiness. It's explicitly not the same as cheer, happiness, or even enjoyment. It's deeper. Instead, joy does not always manifest itself in smiles and laughter, but it is a happiness that goes beyond regular happiness. It has to do with a quality of perception, of seeing and being seen, of hearing and being heard. That suggests a deeper, almost spiritual connection, right? A profound sense of recognition and belonging within the learning process itself. It's intimately linked to feelings of curiosity, excitement, disturbance, and wonder. That word, disturbance, is particularly interesting. It suggests that true joy can sometimes come from that unsettling experience of having your assumptions challenged, your worldview expanded, or your understanding profoundly shifted. This bigger definition of joy really emphasizes its intrinsic and relational nature. It sets it apart from just fleeting positive emotions, and it underscores the importance of a holistic, deeply human learning experience.
Yeah, and what's deeply fascinating and also quite sobering is that despite this immense potential for profound joy, learning experiences can often fall woefully short, especially in diverse global contexts facing significant systemic challenges. Our sources note pretty somberly that the joy of learning may sometimes be totally excluded in a diverse world, especially in emerging economy contexts where issues of equality, equity, and social justice are more profound. We see this starkly in places like South Africa, with challenges like high student dropout rates, socioeconomic problems, lack of access to higher education, high teacher-student ratio, and poorly resourced educational institutions. I mean, imagine the sheer uphill battle for joy in a classroom where basic resources are scarce and the teacher is stretched thin across too many students. These are profound systemic barriers.
Absolutely. And it's not just about tangible resources or access either. A major, maybe insidious factor that can strip away the joy of learning is when one way of knowing is espoused as the correct and only way learning can or should be achieved. That kind of rigid monocultural approach, it just stifles natural curiosity, it undervalues individual expression, and it alienates learners whose experiences or learning styles don't fit that narrow mold. Furthermore, the relentlessly rising cost of getting a good education is taking away the joy of learning. That's a huge one. When education becomes this insurmountable financial burden, the intrinsic pleasure of discovery is inevitably overshadowed by stress and economic pressure. These challenges really highlight that access, teaching approach, and systemic equity are absolutely critical for fostering joy, not just the content itself. They're a stark reminder that joy in learning is definitely not a given for everyone, everywhere.
So this raises a crucial question for educators, for institutions, and really for all of us involved in learning environments. How do we consciously and actively create spaces that promote this deeper, more profound sense of joy? Our sources offer several really transformative strategies for promoting joy by fundamentally humanizing the learning experience. This requires a basic shift in approach that prioritizes student readiness, ensures genuine relevance, celebrates diversity, and embraces active engagement.
Okay, first, it's fundamentally about making learning truly meaningful and relevant. This means a deliberate focus on students' readiness to learn, actively making the subject of learning important, and critically, making it meaningful to students on a personal level. Does it connect? The content, quite simply, must resonate with the lived experiences of the students to promote that deep sense of joy. Otherwise, why care? This might involve moving beyond traditional lectures, embracing non-traditional pedagogies, actively incorporating real-life circumstances, and even intentionally planning non-formal settings into learning experiences. Get outside the classroom sometimes. It's about meeting learners exactly where they are, acknowledging their unique backgrounds, and directly connecting new information to their world, making it tangible and relatable.
Secondly, we need to wholeheartedly embrace diversity and multiple pathways to knowledge. This involves proactively recognizing that individuals have various skill sets, strengths, and experiences that they bring to the learning environment. Everyone brings something unique. Teachers and facilitators need to take into account the diversity of their students, so that students are thus able to learn from each other, leveraging those unique insights. This includes celebrating and embracing cultural, linguistic, and learning diversity. The core idea is that multiple ways of thinking about learning and learning the same information should be an integral part of the teaching and learning process. And, perhaps most importantly, students must feel comfortable in sharing own views without any fear. That psychological safety is key. This creates a truly inclusive, dynamic, and intellectually rich learning space where every single voice is valued.
And finally, and perhaps most vitally, it's about fostering collaboration, genuine acceptance, and profound respect. Learning, at its very best, should be seen as an inherently social activity. Students should be actively enabled to learn together and from others using collaborative techniques. It's absolutely crucial to promote mutual understanding and respect among the participants, creating spaces where people feel that their knowledge and unique expertise are valued. Your experience matters. Learning must be humanized through inclusion, ensuring that those who are different, whether in background, perspective, or ability, are genuinely accepted and respected and never, ever labeled and made to feel inferior. These strategies, taken together, they collectively aim to transform learning into a deeply personal, profoundly empowering, and richly socially connective experience, moving far beyond just a cognitive exercise to something much more holistic and, well, soul-enriching.
What's also profoundly fascinating here is the pivotal role technology plays in this whole equation. It really is a double-edged sword, isn't it? On one hand, technology holds immense transformative potential to significantly enhance the joy of learning through unparalleled accessibility and dynamic engagement. As one participant in our sources put it so well, we live in a tech-savvy world, and the visual stimulation in media may make learning more joyful. It meets people where they are. Technology can restore the joy of learning and be used in wonderfully fun and interactive ways. It offers compelling visual stimulation, engaging educational videos, stimulating fun learning games, and effectively appeals to different learning preferences. Think rich sound clips for auditory learners or captivating videos for visual learners. Lots of options.
Absolutely. Technology makes learning more accessible to people who might otherwise be geographically or physically limited. And it connects us globally in ways we couldn't imagine before, truly making the world a global village. I mean, think about it. Social media, for all its issues, drives our world today. It allows students to present learning content in ways that it would interact on a daily basis instead of the traditional hard copy. This is a monumental shift from traditional, often static textbook learning to something far more dynamic and engaging, mirroring how we actually consume information in our daily lives now.
However, and this is a big however, the full transformative potential of technology can only be realized if we earnestly address its significant challenges. The rising cost of education is a hindrance to the attainment of the joy of learning, and this critically includes the often prohibitive cost of internet access in many parts of the world. Access is not equal. There's also the pervasive lack of technology skills among both students and teachers, persistent poor school classroom infrastructure that prevents effective integration, and ongoing issues with the reliability and availability of essential ICT resources. You need the basics to work, and we cannot, under any circumstances, overlook the potential dangers of a digital environment. Things like cyberbullying and serious cybersecurity breaches. These can actively erode the psychological safety and therefore the joy of the learning experience.
It's absolutely true. While technology offers these powerful, innovative tools for personalized and engaging learning, its truly transformative power can only be unlocked when fundamental issues of equitable access, comprehensive training, and robust digital literacy are comprehensively and systematically addressed. It's a systemic issue. So, for you, our listener, maybe consider this. How can you thoughtfully leverage technology in your own learning in a way that truly brings you joy, fostering that deeper engagement we talked about? And what are the specific digital habits or maybe mindfulness practices you might need to cultivate in yourself to make that joy not just possible, but sustainable, navigating the inherent complexities of our digital world?
So we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored that innate spark of curiosity that is our birthright, delved into its profound and wide-ranging benefits across all aspects of life. We examined the often unseen reasons why that spark frequently dwindles in adulthood, and then meticulously outlined the many dynamic ways we can reignite it, from adopting simple, conscious daily questioning habits to embracing formal lifelong learning programs and even leveraging technology effectively and ethically.
Right. To bring it all together, our deep dive today has really shown us this undeniable truth. Curiosity isn't just some intellectual pursuit or a nice personality trait. It is a fundamental biological and psychological driver of happiness, overall well-being, and a truly fulfilling life. Lifelong learning, far from being a luxury, is an absolute necessity in our constantly changing world. It offers a myriad of pathways to continuous growth, whether through accessible free online courses like MOOCs, specialized professional certifications that open new career doors, affordable community college programs, or innovative corporate learning initiatives. We've seen the irrefutable scientific truth of brain plasticity, how active learning quite literally keeps our minds sharper, healthier, more adaptable, physically changing our brains for the better. And we've reinforced the profound importance of cultivating genuine joy in learning by embracing diverse perspective, valuing individual experiences, and making learning deeply relevant, collaborative, and fundamentally human.
Yeah, the ultimate enduring lesson from this whole journey of discovery, I think, is that the continuous pursuit of knowledge and the intentional rekindling of your innate curiosity, they aren't just about what new facts you learn or what new skills you acquire, although that's great too. More profoundly, and maybe more beautifully, it's about the person you become in the process, a person who is more adaptable, more resilient, more empathetic, more open to the world, and ultimately, yeah, far more joyful.
So, as you look around your world today, maybe right now, what's one tiny thing you've always just taken for granted, always seen as just what is? Perhaps it's the design of your coffee mug, or the way a bird flies across your yard, or the unexpected texture of a leaf you walk past every day. What if you tried pausing just for a moment and truly asking, wait, what is that really? Or, I wonder why it's like that. About that one small overlooked thing. How might that single small act of curiosity open up a whole new world of understanding, reveal layers you never noticed, and perhaps just maybe ignite a surprising flicker of joy you didn't expect?
Take that first step. Embrace the unknown, the unasked, the unexamined. Stay curious, stay deeply engaged, and truly never stop learning. Your journey of discovery is a lifelong adventure, and we sincerely hope you not only enjoy the ride, but also the profound, quiet joy it brings along the way.